Daily Devotionals for April 9th, Resurrection Sunday. Today's scripture reading will be Matthew 28, verses 1 through 6. Now after the Sabbath, as the first day of the week began to dawn, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary came to see the tomb. And behold, there was a great earthquake, for an angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat on it. His countenance was like lightning, and his clothing was white as snow. And the guards shook for fear of him and became like dead men. Can you imagine how they had to feel at that point? But the angel answered and said to the women, "Do not be afraid, for I know that you seek Jesus who was crucified. He is not here, for he is risen." And he said, "Come, see the place where the Lord lay." Now, there's a lot. If you put the four Gospels together, you get a complete story of what took place that morning, that day. Each Gospel gives you different points of view, and some a little more than others. But, the women, they end up seeing Jesus, and they saw the tomb, that it was empty. Then they see Jesus, and he says, go and tell the disciples that, I am here, I've risen. And, they were just perplexed. That's what it says. And Peter and John, they ran to the tomb, and they go in and they see that the grave cloths are there. Jesus isn't there, but the grave cloths. And now I want to read out of John 6, John 20, verse 6 and 7. Then Simon Peter came, following him, and went into the tomb, so that's him and John, and he saw the linen cloths lying there, and the handkerchief that had been around his head, not lying with the linen cloths, but folded together in a place by itself. Now, that I find that very interesting. Jesus was wrapped in the cloths, the grave cloths. He's placed in there, and the napkin over his face. And now 3 days later, the disciples go in there, and of course they see the grave cloths, but the napkin that was over his face, it is folded and it is set in a different place. Now, here's something that the Lord showed me, gave me understanding of some years ago. In fact, this is our shepherd's rod from 2016. And something the Lord showed me then was about the master's folded napkin. It was a Hebrew tradition that when the master sat down to eat, his servant boy would be off to the side, waiting, watching every move that the master made so that he knew what to do. He just, that's how we should be with our master, okay? Watching every move he makes, knowing what we need to do. But what he did, if the master, when he was done eating, if he wiped his beard and, wiped his mouth and his beard and his hands, and he got up and then he tossed the napkin on the table, that meant that he was finished. He was not coming back, okay? And then as soon as he left, the servant would know to clean up the table. However, if the master got up from the table and he folded his napkin and laid it beside his plate, then the servant knew that his master was coming back. So in this particular instance, where in the tomb, our master folded his napkin, placed it, that was his facial napkin, placed it in another place, okay? And this is what the Lord was showing me, that he is the head and we are the body, but the body has been separated or disconnected since that time, and they can't be joined together until the body comes into unity with the head, being Jesus Christ. So I just wanted to share that as a tidbit for our story today. You know, he is risen. He is alive, and he lives in us this day. Okay, this is a time of real rejoicing that our Master is alive, and he is coming back. I think those angels, you know, there's a lot of interaction throughout the Bible with the angels, but if you read in the Gospels about the resurrection, you'll see there were many different angels, many supernatural things that took place that day. All right, well, I hope everyone enjoys their, we call it Easter, of course, Resurrection Day. Enjoy your time with your family, your loved ones, and remember, he is risen and he is coming back. Be blessed.